jazzing up your day with a touch of soul. The Living Room on 938 Live.
Welcome into the Living Room on 938 Live, and imagine rubbing shoulders with some of the best chefs in the world, sampling gourmet food, chatting with the lovely locals. We're talking about the Margaret River Gourmet Escape. It's in its third year, I believe, 2014. This year will be its third year. I'll give you details as to how you can go about figuring out a nice travel package for yourself if you'd like to, rub shoulders with Sam Leong, Heston Blumenthal and such. Sam's with us in the studio. He's going to tell us all about it in just a bit. A couple of things you can be doing there. You can indulge at the Gourmet Village. You can, as I mentioned, get starstruck by international celebrity chefs, support our local chef, Sam Leong, and attend some amazing satellite events and, rub shoulders with the locals. So Sam's with us today. We know him for his innovative way of treating Chinese cuisine. How's he going to adapt to it whilst he's in Australia and dealing with the fresh produce that they have there? Thanks so much for joining us today, Sam. Looks like good company you're keeping these days, huh? Heston Blumenthal, George Columbaris, Rick Stein and such. How are you feeling? Are you feeling pressure? I must fly the Singapore flag high. How are you feeling?
Good morning, yeah. Always exciting when we invite to such an international special event. I'm really exciting and meeting some of the most famous chefs in the world and cooking alone with them.
I mentioned that you much prefer cooking Chinese cuisine, or that's sort of your comfort zone, shall we say. It's what you're familiar with, the ingredients and so on. It might be a little different here over in Australia, where it's a lot of fresh fish, I assume, and different kinds of ingredients. How are you preparing for it?
Yes, I've been cooking Chinese food for the past 30 years. It's my basic. But once I start to travel a lot, so I don't really state that I'm a Chinese chef. Yeah. Okay. Because if you go to Europe or the States, you don't really have a Chinese kitchen with all the stuff, So normally when I travel as a guest chef, and I'll be invited as a guest chef, I represent Singapore. Sam Leong is an Asian Chinese chef. Okay. So the variety, the dishes are more. Australia, I've been many times before. It's beautiful country. That's the only country when I travel as a guest chef, I don't plan much on the menu and sending the market list, because seafood are beautiful. Normally as a guest chef, we have to send the dishes, the recipe, and what kind of seafood specific to the chef, so they can order all the ingredients first before we arrive. But in Australia, normally it's all there. It's all there. So normally the chef will bring me to the market. So Sam, this is all the fish. So I just pick. I want this cod. I want this lobster. So then we quickly do the menu.
You're not planning.
On the seafood, I don't plan.
Okay.
Of course, the meat, the soup, the appetizer, we plan ahead. So normally seafood, I leave it open.
Yeah. Right. So you'll decide as and when you're in the market looking at the
amazing seafood in Australia, especially in Sydney part. Yeah.
I'm scared for you a bit. I'm nervous. So you mentioned that the rest of the dishes, say the meat dishes, the soups and the appetizers, you will do some planning whilst you're in Singapore before you go?
Yes. There's 3 events been arranged for me. 2 is cooking class, and I'm cooking a dinner on November 21st with Chef Nigel. The event called East Meets West, so probably will be a 4-course sit-down dinner. I might be cooking 2 dishes, and with the chef Nigel will be cooking 2 dishes. So probably I'll sending the recipe already to them that I will cook appetizer, which is wasabi prawn, which I created 20 years ago.
It's a favorite in restaurants here.
Yes. So to bring this dish for the dinner is Miss West, and for the main course we were both doing a meat. I might be cooking a lamb, and Chef Nigel will cooking a beef. So 2 dishes in 1 plate at the main course. For the dessert, I will leave it to Chef Nigel team.
Do you not like doing desserts?
It's not that I don't like. A bit embarrassed Chinese chef cooking dessert. So you ask us Chinese chef dessert, normally we say mango pudding or Chinese pancake.
Or what we like to call sugar water tong shui, right?
Yes, tong shui, yeah. I mean, this is, everybody like mango pudding, children, but to international event, you don't put dessert as mango pudding, a bit embarrassed, yeah. So I leave it to the Western pastry chef, they are expert on the dessert, yeah.
So what about the class? You mentioned you'll be holding a cooking class. What will you be teaching our fine friends in Australia?
Yes, I have two cooking class events. The first one was a chef skillery, and the other class was chef secret attraction. It's good that my wife would join me in this trip. She's a Thai, so both of us, she's my assistant, so we'll be put a little bit of Thai element, like lemongrass, galangang, to share more knowledge about Singapore Asian food.
Right. Is your wife a better chef than you? Is that why you need some backup?
No, because she is also a culinary. She cook Thai and I cook Chinese Asian, so we complement each other.
We're chatting with Chef Sam Leong, who'll be flying our Singapore flag high at the Margaret River Gourmet Escape. I'll give you details as to how you can check out what the itinerary will be like, whether or not you'd like to take part. There'll be some ticketing packages for you to check out as well if you'd like to fly all the way to Margaret River to rub shoulders with the best chefs in the world, to sample some of their great dishes. Stay with us on The Living Room, 938 Live.
The Living Room on 938 Live. Time now to rejoin The Living Room on 938 Live.
Thanks for staying with us on The Living Room on 938 Live. We are chatting with Chef Sam Leong, who will be flying our Singapore flag high at the Margaret River Gourmet Escape. It's a must if you're a gourmand. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Award-winning international chefs are all getting together for this in November. And if you are a self-proclaimed foodie, I'm thinking you need to do this. It's just a 3-hour flight from Singapore. There'll be loads of travel packages for you to peruse at the website. I'll give you the website in just a bit. Some of the events go as low as $38. It's kind of like chefs rub shoulders with normal folk. They feed them and everything. What's not to love, right? So Sam Leong's with us today to tell us a bit more about some of his classes he'll be holding there. Are they called master classes? Are they for beginners, or anyone can take part?
The class is for public.
Yeah.
So
must you have some cooking knowledge? What if I don't know how to boil water?
It's basically we cooking class. Normally we just introduce a simple ingredient, and not too complicated, so the student or the public can easily learn, so they can go back home and cook. Yeah,
but sometimes these kinds of events, right? International chefs like yourself, Heston Blumenthal, Rick Stein, people get a bit intimidated. I mean, I don't want to show Chef Sam Leong that I cannot boil an egg, It's a bit embarrassing. How?
Chef and chef instructor is two different. Chef, you have to cook good food in a restaurant. Right. Guest is expecting when they come to a restaurant. But as a chef instructor, you have to knowledge, even though the student asks you, chef, how to steam a rice? You need to explain because you are the teacher. They are coming to your class. They need more knowledge, you see. So as a teacher, we need to explain in detail how to wash the rice, how much water, steam the rice, and after you can't finish the rice, how long can the rice keep for 2 days. So as a teacher, we need to explain all in details. But as a chef in the restaurant,
just quickly cook it, right?
And then we just say hello to the guests, how's the food, and the guests normally say, oh, thanks chef, compliment, good dinner. So as a teacher, different compliment. The student, after learning from you, the technique, they go back to cook for the family, and then they will call you Sam. Oh, my son don't eat salmon, but after learning the technique, wow, he loved the whole piece of salmon. So different compliment.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you prefer cooking or teaching?
I've been cooking for the past 30 years Chinese food. Yeah. So then after that, why I from a chef to switch to a teacher, I should say. I saw my wife teaching a lot, especially in those PA. People association. I see the different happiness, interact with the guests ask question. Wherever she teach, all the committee, the student follow them, even though they learn the tom yum soup for the past few years, they still follow, it's the fan. So I see the happiness. And then you share knowledge, whatever knowledge you have, so you just share with the student.
You mentioned that you've been cooking for over 30 years already, but specifically Chinese food. I mean, are there certain techniques that you feel people should evolve as well? You should upgrade your skills, so to speak. You can't keep cooking the same way for 30 years, or can you?
The method of the basic Chinese Cantonese food is still the same, but the technology of the equipment are changing and changing. Yeah. So as a
really, I mean, isn't it just fire and one wok?
Yeah, that's the basic. For example, if you give a Chinese chef a salmon, you know, to steam, salmon either you eat it sashimi, very nice, fresh. If you steam the salmon, it will be overcooked. No matter you steam the salmon 1 minute or 5 minutes. So with new technology coming like steamer, they have those function combi. So you put a salmon, you can turn the temperature to maybe 60. In the other word, slow cook, slow steam or Soviet the salmon. So the salmon come out same the color without changing the quality, the omega. So technology also help us a lot. So as a Chinese chef, we also have to learn. We know how to cook. We have the recipe. So we learn all new technique equipments coming in the market. Yeah.
So over the years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of techniques come. Like at this stage, it's all about gastro something where they break it down with a lot of chemicals. They break down the look of the food already. So instead of a piece of salmon, it becomes salmon foam or something like that. Was that something that you felt that you needed to keep up to date with, this kind of technology, as you were saying?
I'm quite lucky. I'm a Chinese chef, so I don't need to do so much of innovative, you know. Even though if I serve mango pudding, I put a little bit of vanilla ice cream. Wow, it's really something different. Yeah. So I'm very lucky. Yes. It's just a different dining experience. It's no wrong of doing chemical, you know, innovative, you know. Back to the old day, if you give a Chinese chef a quality of Wagyu beef, they still put meat tenderizer to marinate.
Oh dear.
This is what we learn when we are young. So put meat tenderizer to make the beef soft, you know. So now you give a Chinese chef a good Wagyu beef, they understand. So don't put meat tenderizer, you destroy the meat.
Right.
The beef is so good quality, you know. So we're learning as a Chinese chef too, yeah.
So what are you looking forward to at the Margaret River Gourmet Escape? You mentioned you're cooking dinner, you're also holding some classes. Which one are you looking forward to the most?
I heard about this event for so many years. For the past 3 years, I've been in so many international events. So,
but you really wanted to go to this one, right?
When I opened my email, that's from Margaret River Escape, Gourmet Escape. I said, then I read to, they invite me. Wow, you know, I must go, you know, no matter how busy am I. November is so busy in Singapore, yeah. So, I mean, it's just 3 days. It's a fun event. Yeah, a lot of activity during the event. So, besides going there, represent Singapore and present Sam Leong, my modern Chinese cuisine dish. Also, I take this opportunity after the event. I will spend another 4 or 5 days to stay there to understand more about the wine. Yeah, because nowadays, I mean, you go to Chinese restaurant so many years.
They're also starting to pair wines with food.
Chinese restaurant, they carry good tea, Chinese tea. But nowadays, customer go Chinese restaurant, they want to Chinese food go with some wine.
Right.
Yeah. So Asia are a bit changing these past 20 years, you see. So now guests go to Chinese restaurant, they don't say, show me your Chinese tea, show me your wine dish.
Right.
Yeah. So it's good for me to learn because we also have do many events Chinese food pair with wine, but I still not so good knowledge on that. I love to drink wine, but to understand more, to pair with my food, I still not expert, so take this opportunity to learn a little bit, to meet up with the winery, so to understand more. So hopefully come back, I can do a good Chinese food pair with wine.
That sounds great, Chef Sam Leong. Still learning after cooking for over 30 years. That's really something to inspire us. And please join him and support him as he heads to Margaret River for Margaret River Gourmet Escape. If you are a self-proclaimed foodie, you must do this over 3 days or a weekend, actually. Just fly 3 hours from Singapore to Margaret River. You'll also get to meet Heston Blumenthal, other great chefs like Rick Stein and George Columbaris. Here is the website for you to check out, gourmetescape.com.au/Singapore. Some of the events go as low as $38, like cooking classes, for example, with Chef Sam. Also dinner, Chef Sam will be cooking. And you can check out the website again for all the details of all the program, gourmetescape.com.au/Singapore. Thank you, Chef Sam, for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Jazzing up your day with a touch of soul. The Living Room on 938 Live.